Factors to be considered before starting a business. Point number one, choice of form of ownership. In relation of ownership, the business origination may take the form of a sole proprietorship, partnership, or a joint stock company. Each form has its own merits and demerits. The choice of the suitable form of ownership will depend on such factors as the line of business, capital requirements, liability of ownership, division of profit, legal formalities, continuity of business, transferability of interest, and so on. The next point to be considered before setting up a business is location of business enterprise. This is again an important factor to be considered. The start of the business is the place where the enterprise will be located. We have to think about the availability of raw materials, labor, power supply, services like banking, transportation, communication, warehousing, etc. Point number three is financing the proposition. Financing is concerned with providing the necessary capital for starting as well as for continuing the proposed business. Capital is required for investment in fixed assets like land, building, machinery, and equipments, and in current assets like raw materials, book debts, stock of finished goods, etc. Capital is also required for meeting day to day expenses. Proper financial planning must be done to determine these following things. We need to consider A. Requirements of capital, B. Source from which capital will be raised, and C. The best ways of utilizing the capital in the firm. Now, coming to the another most important factor is point number four, that is plant layout. Once the requirement of physical facilities has been determined, the entrepreneur should draw a layout plan showing the arrangement of these facilities. It can also be termed as blueprint of proposed business. Layout mean the physical arrangement of everything needed to manufacture a product, including machines, persons, raw materials, and finished goods. Now, coming to point number five, competent and committed force, yet is another very important point to be considered before setting up a business. Every enterprise needs competent and committed workforce to perform various activities so that physical and financial resources are converted into desired outputs. Since no individual entrepreneur can do everything by himself, he must identify the requirement of skilled and unskilled workers and managerial staff. Plans should also be made about how the employees will be trained and motivated to give their best performance. Then, coming to tax planning, this is again one of the most important point to be considered before setting up a business, that is tax planning. Tax planning has become necessary these days because the number of tax laws in the country influence almost every aspect of the functioning of modern business. The founder of the business has to consider in advance the tax liability under various tax laws and its impact on business decisions. Coming to the next point, again, an important factor to be considered before setting up a business is the launching the enterprise. This is again point number seven. After the decisions relating the above mentioned factors have been taken, the entrepreneur can go ahead with actual launching of the enterprise, which would mean mobilizing various resources, fulfilling necessary legal formalities, starting the production process, and initiating the sale promotion campaign. Now, let us talk about characteristics of business. This is another subtopic, very important topic, which one has to know. In order to appreciate how business activity is different from other activities in society, the nature of business or its fundamental character must be explained in terms of its distinguishing characteristics, which are as follows. Point A, an economic activity. Business is considered to be an economic activity because it's undertaken with the objective of earning profit or money or livelihood, and not out of love, affection, sympathy, or any other emotion. It may be mentioned here that this activity can be undertaken either on small and individual level. Example, purchase and sale by a shopkeeper, or on a large scale in a more formal and organized level, that is, purchase and sale by a cooperative society or a company. Next, coming to point B, production or procurement of goods and services. Before goods are offered to people for consumption, these must be either produced or procured by business enterprises. Thus, every business enterprise either manufactures the goods it deals in or acquires them from producers to be further sold to consumers or users. Goods may consist of consumable items of daily use such as sugar, ghee, pen, notebook, etc., or capital goods like machinery, furniture, etc. Services may include facilities offered to consumers, business firms, and organizations in the form of transportation, banking, electricity, etc. Characteristic of business is that they should be sale or exchange of goods or services between the seller and the buyer. Now, coming to point number three, that is dealings in goods and services on a regular basis. Business involves dealings in goods or services on a regular basis. One single transaction of sale or purchase, therefore, does not constitute business. Thus, for example, if a person sells his or her domestic radio set even at a profit, it will not be considered a business activity. But if he or she sells radio sets regularly, either through a shop or from his or her residence, it will be regarded as a business activity. Now, coming to profit earning, this is the point number four. Profit earning. One of the main purpose of business is to earn income by way of profit. No business can survive for long without profit. That is why businessmen make all possible efforts to maximize profits by increasing the volume of sales or reducing costs. Point number five, uncertainty of a return. Uncertainty of return refers to the lack of knowledge relating to the amount of money that the business is going to earn in a given period. So every business invests money or capital to run its activities with the objective of earning profit, but it is not certain as to what amount of profit will be earned. Also, there is always a possibility of losses being incurred despite the best efforts to put into the business. Now, coming to point number six, that is the element of risk. Risk is the uncertainty associated with an exposure to loss. It is caused by some unfavorable or undesirable event. Risks are related with factors like changes in consumer taste and fashion, changes in method of production, strike, or lockout at workplace. Increased competition in market, fire, theft, accidents, natural calamities, etc., could also lead to risks in business. No business can altogether do away with risks. Here we have few important questions in this chapter. That is question number one, what are the various factors to be considered before starting a business? Question number two, write the characteristics of business. And question number three, elaborate the term business as an economic activity. Thank you. Here I have few MCQs which are very important. You can just note down these few MCQs for this chapter. That is, the model that details the finances of the concept and how to make it profitable is termed as, the answer would be business model. And question number two, a business activity is a commercial activity which involves providing goods or services with a primary motive of, the four options given are recognition, service, profit, and promotion. The answer would be profit. So, a business activity is a commercial activity which involves providing goods or services with a primary motive of earning profit. Question number three, dash are those performed out of love, sympathy, sentiments, and patriotism. The answer is non economic activities. And question number four, economic activities may be further divided into three categories, namely business, profession, and employment. This is the answer. Question number five, activities are those by which we can earn our livelihood. What is it called? Economic activities. To start a business, financial planning must be done to determine what? The requirements of capital, option 1. Option 2 is source from which capital will be raised. And option 3 is the best ways of utilizing the capital in the firm. And option 4 is all of these. The answer would be all of these. That is, to start a business, financial planning must be done to determine all of these. Question number 2. What are the various elements of risk? Changes in consumer taste and fashion, increased competition in market, natural calamities, or all of these? Answer would be all of these. Question number 3. Availability of raw materials and labor, power supply are which business decision factors? The answer is location of business enterprise. Following is not the business decision factors. Here, options given are tax planning, dealings in goods and services on a regular basis, plant layout, choice of firm of ownership. The correct answer would be tax planning. The last MCQ, one single transaction of sale or purchase, therefore, does not constitute business activity. Thank you.